It's Daybreak on Rise News, and it's time for the press preview. But first, a look at what's on the front pages of the papers. And we start with the Punch, not our sister publication. We'll wait for that to come in. Okay, I'm just hearing that this day is in. Ken, I don't have it. Maybe you have it. Okay, that's it. National Security Council elections will hold as scheduled. That's what's on the front page of this day. And of course, then you have that advert of Atiku Abubakar.
And over to the Punch newspaper. Similar looking pages. INEC distributes election materials as Buhari meets security chiefs.
All right, the Guardian. Let's look at what the Guardian is saying. It says again, Supreme Court defers ruling on naira design to after election. It has some riders there. Let me see if I can take some. It says consolidate suits by 16 states, fixes March 3 for judgment. Wait our decision. Supreme Court tells Abia, other states seeking to join suit. Some other states are seeking to join the suit. We're overburdened. Something must be done on Nigerian constitution. Judges lament. Nigeria's left in the middle of the sea. Okay, that's just about some of the riders there. Let's look at some of the stories there. Again, Buhari or Shibajo support group apologizes to Nigerians, dumps APC for PDP. Okay, your vote masses. Blinking tells Nigerians in a video message. We did carry that on the news. And NMPP petitions NSA, DSS, others alleges siege to Kanu campaign office. And court remands Rivers federal lawmaker in prison custody 48 hours to election.
The international papers, this is the Financial Times. Philip Morris sees no hope of deal to sell Russian assets. And missing Chinese banker was working to establish family office in Singapore.
All right, the Daily Express says Rishi launches crackdown on asylum seeker backlog. ISIS terror bride Begum banned from returning to Britain. A while ago, Kenny was saying that suits them right. Maybe an example for others who want to leave Britain and go to join ISIS.
This is the Guardian. Alarm over rising tide of toxic forever chemicals. And Russia's grieved parents in limbo wait to hear fate of their sons.
All right, the Independent. The day that Britain turned into the, in brackets, empty basket case of Europe, whatever that means. What other paper? You've taken the Guardian, right?
Yeah, that's
so
that.
Let's have this day. For the press preview now, we're bringing Emmanuel Bello. Emmanuel, glad to have you.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Yes.
All right, the Security Council says election will hold as scheduled. What do you make of that?
Well, yeah, I think we all need a lot of reassurances, and 48 hours to elections. Is it 48 hours?
Yeah, 48 hours, yeah. Well,
reminds you of the movie 48 hours, another 48, the Buffy's movie 48 hours.
48 hours.
Yes, and there's something always about those 48 hours moments, and one of them is this reassurance we're getting from the security chiefs. And we need all of that because they've been sound of, here and there you hear people talking about the crisis that can go along with this election. So where this just, those last minute reassurances that, look, just go out and vote, and maybe having cast your votes, go home and stay there, and that you can be reassured that, or you have the assurance that you are safe. I think this kind of reassurances are very, very important, especially as we go into one of the most, you agree with me, Indy, that it's going to be one of the most interesting elections, very tight race, with everybody thinking of a change or what transition. The president always saying that, look, he's committed to not just transparent election, but peaceful ones. And this is a case of getting the military to to protect democracy. And one way they do that, which is one of the cardinal thing, is to ensure that they're out there, watching the voters as they cast their vote. So the security chiefs are united about this, and this is reassuring because it is always at this point of transition, especially in Africa, that you hear those bad, terrible stories of truncating of the process. But here, the biggest democracy in Africa, trying to lead the world in giving those reassurances. I think the United States, it's actually keenly watching what's going to happen here. And with those video messages yesterday from the Secretary of State, it's clear that this is the democracy a lot of people are looking at, because if this goes well, I think for some time now, our democracy has actually, survived. We've not had very fantastic transition, but we have them all the same. And it's at the heart of democracy that you should have not just very free, fair, transparent transition, but one that is rancor-free, one that is peaceful, just like you have it in very developed democracies around the world.
We're looking forward to peaceful polls on Saturday. I feel like this will be a different one.
And don't forget that CBN says, Mahmoud says CBN has released the monies they need for
all the
election.
cash he needs. So we're expecting some cash to start moving around, courtesy of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Emmanuel, speaking of cash, the Supreme Court met yesterday, and parties to that suit filed by some APC governors, they all gathered in the court. But the Apex Court has deferred judgment to March the 3rd.
Yes, and before this, we came on and we were discussing that, Kenneth, and we're asking ourselves, who is gained by that, or who gained by that, and who are the losers by that? In this case, it's the Nigerian people that are the losers, because
I don't think anybody's losing. Did you lose?
I don't know.
You think you lost?
I don't know if you saw India. I don't know if you guys saw this picture, but it's been trending. Those governors who sat there in court, looking really forlorn and looking as if something did not work for them. The APC governors who went to court. So some people try to interpret her to say, well, it's another loss for the people who've been, clamoring that this cash should be out there. Exactly. But people are wondering, and you see, it actually also raises all that issue about these governors who went to court and who are so vehement about the fact that, look, these old notes should come out so that we can use them. And with me, people saying that, well, that is not for the Nigerian people. That's not the concern. Everywhere, almost everyone I've spoken to have said that, look, if this is about vote buying, they are siding with Mr. President. I didn't know there will be a day that I will hear Nigerians saying that they're on the same page with Mr. President. I mean, he's got all this bashing all these years. Suddenly, in the twilight of his administration, Nigerians actually say, you are getting this right, we're supporting you, we like what is going on, we don't want anybody buying our votes. You hear Nigerians saying that, Indy is shaking his head again. But that's the truth. I hear Nigerians saying that, look, we're okay with it, but we don't even, that there are people who say, look, we don't spend that much anyway, and that this is not about us. And guess what? That's what Mr. President has been saying from the first day of this whole thing. He said, look, it's not targeted at you and I. Of course, we're going through some kind of hardship, a lot of hardship around the issue of unscrupulous POS, operators now, running the market, selling naira. That's very, the other day the price changed again and everything. So yes, there's that aspect in there. I'm not.
How can you tell me to
well, there's that
to buy your own money.
Essentially buying your own money.
I haven't paid a dime for my.
I have not.
I'm not paying a dime.
I have not.
If you're not doing it, a lot of Nigerians are doing it around the POS. If you want easy cash, you want to get it, you pay. But
they need to go online. They need to fix your internet and use your phones.
Yes. To do transfers, maybe, yes, but there are people who still need cash, and herein lies the hardship that a lot of people are talking about. But in the midst of all that is the politics, and that's what's played out at the Supreme Court yesterday, which is the fact that it looks as if Buhari is having the open hand, himself and the CBN governor seem to still be having the open hand in saying, look, we are sticking with just those 200 naira notes, I would say. So the big spenders, the politicians who want to speak big on this campaign, are saying that, well, this is not going well for them. Like I say, there's that telling picture of them yesterday in court, not looking too happy, with a lot of Nigerians saying that, look, if this is about vote buying, we're siding with Mr. President on this matter. And now with INEC announcing that, look, hey, we've got all the cash that we need, because those same guys were making, the APC governors were saying, look, there won't be monies for INEC to do this. And INEC now is saying that, look, we've got all the cash in place. And I think some of the papers this morning are leading with a very interesting story of how INEC is beginning to ship material to the states for elections.
All right. Well, still on this day, EFCC saying naira swap, 500 billion or thereabout, yet to be returned into the vault. I mean, still on the naira swap issue.
Yeah, and you know that part of the real redesigning policy was just that those money should be banked, and the target was monies that are just lying and loose everywhere. You know, dangerous money, we call them, or black money that could be used for all sort of nefarious activity. But now those one, and now EFCC is saying that more of those kind of money are still out there. It tells you that this policy, it's well thought out, I guess, but this dating problem, this crisis that it's seek to solve, are not really solved yet. El-Rufai the other day was saying that Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State said that, look, there are other ways of buying votes and all of that. And then even the crisis of having loose money around, what the EFCC boss is saying now is that, yeah, such money are still out there, have not been canned or have not been banked in yet. Well, those are some of the challenges that the redesigning of this notice is propped up.
Now, The Guardian, your vote matters. Blinken tells Nigerians in video message is interfering in our election.
It's not. It's, I think one of the most telling video, call-outs we had like that was Obama himself, President Obama, former President Obama, before the 2015 or was it 2019 election, and it was very telling. Some people still even, they still share that video, and so Blinken doing that sort of thing.
Buhari warned observers and foreign nations don't interfere in Nigeria's election.
Well, this is not. I don't think.
No, I'm just asking. I'm just adding.
The policeman of the world, the U.S. Policing democracy.
Who made the police? Who made the police?
Well, that's the idea generally. The blueprint for democracy seems to be coming from there. It's not as if I'm supporting all of that, but I'm saying that is the kind of role they like to play. And then what's wrong with actually urging people to do the right thing? And I think it's just when yesterday, this day also carried stories of Jonathan and some reputable leaders around the world saying that, look, we're looking at Nigeria, we're standing with you in this election. Everybody wants a transition that is smooth, because the way Nigeria goes, so goes the continent. If the largest democracy in Africa doesn't get this right, I think people worry a lot about the consequences. So don't blame Blinken or any other world leader who be weighing strongly on our elections, watching strongly. So this is not interference as much as it is just, trying to tell us. I think indeed the other thing I'm sure you would like to ask me is that when are we going to also advise the US to have transparent elections, or tell other democracies to do
that? We're talking about the shootings, and Ken said something like, America has a domestic terrorism problem. But you see them telling other nations, do this, do that, and you're wondering, have you settled your own issue?
Going into the elections, Emmanuel, the reports floating around of violence already happening in the southeast, unconfirmed reports saying that the Labour Party senatorial candidate somewhere in Enugu has been shot and killed. We haven't confirmed it, but as we move forward, we'll bring you more news on that. Let's look at the campaigns, Emmanuel. The big spenders. On the front pages today, we see the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party and his vice, the Punch this day. We haven't seen much of the Labour Party on the front pages. Still doing all other parties who spent big cash.
And how do you check their spending limits? I think supposed to be doing that.
Yeah, I've not checked their books, so we don't know who are the biggest spenders. But see, advert spending or spending on advert is part and parcel of this process. So, and in big democracies, even in the US, actually that becomes part and parcel of the campaign, talking point. Who is getting more donations? Who is getting more money? Who is spending more? Those are some of the big issues you find in the US election, for instance. They actually make a boast of it that, okay, this campaign is getting these huge donations from these billionaires and all of that. INEC here is capping the spending. The electoral laws are capping the spending, deciding, telling us what to spend and not to spend. But campaign spending on adverts is legitimate, it's done, people do it. The other question you might want to ask is that, who are the big donors to these campaigns? How transparent are the donations? What are they getting? How are they getting them? What could be the consequences of collecting money from big donors after you form a government? Are you going to pay them back in cash, or are you going to give them some contract? All of that. But you're right, Kenneth, it seems to me as if the PDP is spending more on adverts, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's election season. They should be spending. They should be out there sponsoring and talking to the people. The Labour Party keeps saying that, look, that's the party of no structure, that says they don't need any structure, and so they are practically hoping that the social media will do a lot of things for them, and then the people too. So that's what Obi seems to be latching on. You don't see too much of those huge wraparounds, the type that you are seeing from the other big party. And yes, the PDP has the huge spending on the advert. So sad that in the southeast, in the southeast, but we're hearing tales of wars already. Unfortunately, that is bound to hurt the Labour Party. Peter Obi, that's his base there, and I hope that they do something about it before the election day.
All right, thank you, Emmanuel Bello. That's a press preview. Let's hear your view on all the burning issues. Follow us on Twitter at Arise TV. You can join today's conversation using the hashtag at Arise Daily.